no, I need a break in a space of uncertainty, receiving external validation, and what we can really navigate together. Lately, I've been thinking how you can feel like you're on track in so many ways. You're checking off boxes, you're hitting milestones, you're accomplishing goals, and on paper, everything looks like it's going amazing. You're doing everything that the younger you wish that you dreamed of, and you still can feel so behind. Like you're consistently chasing something, and then once you get it, you're there and you're not knowing what to do next. Just floating through life in a space of uncertainty. Welcome to Couch Chronicles. I have self-titled this because not only do I spend a lot of time on different people's couches, but also my own. However, I also have been having all these internal thoughts and I need someone and some place to talk about them. So here lies this. If you're new here, make sure you stay tuned, join in on the conversation, because we're going to be talking about a lot of things that are not only necessary, but happening to all of us as we're going through our 20s, going through college, going through high school, whatever stage of life that you may be in. And yeah, let's get into it. When I started first thinking about this, I had to realize that there is a level of internal peace that you have to consistently monitor when you're receiving external validation or external success. I started the thought process of all this honestly from a lot of the things I accomplished in college. Like there are so many things that were on my bucket list when I first came that I'm like slowly checking the boxes off with. But like other things I've just accomplished over time, whether it be scholarships, club rankings, joining organizations that other people are like, oh my gosh, how'd you do this? How'd you get here? I want to be there. And I'm just sitting here like the work that it took to put into getting this has either caused me some type of emotional growth, possibly some type of emotional turmoil. I have had to push myself to places that I didn't even know I could go. And although that's amazing for my personal growth, it also goes to show that sometimes you have to risk being 100% at peace in order to get the goal. But the struggle is that once you get the goal, how do you get yourself back regulated to be peaceful in and out after you welcome something new into your environment, into your community, and you're not really sure where to go from there. I think that I've had to really look back and be like, you got here, yay, but what do we want to do once we are here? A lot of times as women, as people, we don't plan for what happens once we accomplish our goal and we're now in the space that our goal resonates in, but we just focus on getting to our next goal. And I feel like I personally have found that I struggle with that so much because I'm consistently ready for my next goal, but I've never just taken a second to sit in the environment of my goal. I pushed and pushed and pushed and wanted to be an AKA, and now I'm here. I want to sit in it. I want to enjoy the sisterhood. I want to understand what it means to look like to be an undergraduate versus a graduate, what it means to have line sisters and pro fights, and all those things. But a lot of times as communities, we just skip over it. It's like, we got this, like, what's next? What are we working towards next? What are we grinding towards next? And that is the difference in having to re-regulate your internal peace after you've gotten that external success or validation. So then I had to think about how not only my accomplishments can become a moving target, but also how to deal with outside perception and perspective once reaching that place. I think that I personally had feared slowing down or just stopping doing anything once I reached a certain point or pinnacle. Every time that I would accomplish something, or every time that I would get this next thing or do this next thing, it's like you have a whole group of people who are rushing and wishing for you to go forward, to get the next thing, to do the next thing. And sometimes you just have to say like, no, I need a break. And a break doesn't mean that you're stagnant. A break just means that you're taking time to understand this new aspect of all that you're going through, to navigate it and to work through it before immediately moving on to the next thing. And I think I had to re-romanticize and re-identify what it means to take a break, because what I was currently doing was not that. It was just moving at the speed of light and like expecting everything to keep going with me, but that wasn't my reality, and that also wasn't something that would allow me to move and to grow and to accomplish the things that I truly want, because I would have been so focused on just going forward that I wouldn't have taken the lessons that like getting to this point needed me to learn. Yeah. I think there's so many things, like even just thinking here now with y'all, that like I have just done, and I can look back and think of the lessons that I learned, or look back and think of the challenges that it took to get there. But the light just went off. A lot of times I was just moving through everything that I didn't sit through anything. So since my light died, we're gonna come from another angle of the couch. No worries, because I actually kind of like that we switched it up a little bit. I don't really recall what exactly I was talking to y'all about before the light died, but these have just been my random thoughts, and I can allow and hold space for them, because I think that's something that I've also been recognizing lately, that I haven't been holding space for enough things. Like I've just been moving through the motions, but never giving myself time to like rebound from something. And I think there is a different feeling that I've had lately of knowing that my eternal clock that I've set for myself, the time that I've told myself that I'm going to spend on certain situations, can be moved and maneuvered based on how I'm feeling and adapting, and no longer feeling like I'm moving at someone else's speed. And I think that's really allowed me to understand just how I move. Like when you're not being rushed by anyone, when you are not focused on anyone, I'm also realizing that y'all are probably like a little crooked right now, huh? Is that a little better? I think that's a little better. When you're not moving at anyone else's speed, or like focusing on anyone else in your moments, it just allows you to move more freely. And I think I really needed that freedom to better understand how I was adapting and growing as a young woman. So going forward, whether that be 2025, whether that be the rest of December, whatever that time may be, I'm going to not only sit with myself when she's accomplishing, when she's planning, but also when she's just living, because there is so many nuances to just exploring through breath work, through finding new things, to learning that you hate something, to learning that the goal that you once worked for isn't really what you want at all. Like I have to sit with myself intentionally and understand how I show up in all those spaces. And that's something that I have to dedicate my time to, and what I plan to, and what we can really navigate together. Because I think, you know, now that we're having this conversation, y'all can also reflect and be like, am I really taking time for myself, or learning through these things that I'm accomplishing? Am I truly sitting here and thinking through all of the aspects of this new journey that I'm exploring based on something I put in work for? And if you're not doing that, then start doing that today with me, because there is no time like the present. I plan to take moments as I'm going forward, and just knowing that no matter how early I may feel, no matter how ahead someone may say that I feel in life, I can still as equally feel behind, but I also can still make room for me feeling behind. If I do really feel behind in where I'm going and where I want to be, how do I readjust to plan and reconfigure my mind, and the chemistry that involves all the different things of like how I think and my thoughts, and how that's exported into real life, to understand that I'm not behind at all. I'm moving in the path on the timeline that is right for me, that God ordained me to be in. And also, if I am doing something that is involving procrastination, or me skipping steps, I can take a step back. I can give myself a break when I truly need one, and I can reanalyze and reconfigure my plan to ensure that I'm not behind at all, that I'm moving at the exact speed that I should be, but also that I'm working through something that's gonna take time. I think we all have this idea that achieving goals and accomplishments that people don't do till they're 20 or they're 30 or they're 40 can be much faster because we plan to do them earlier in life, when in the reality is that we still have to work through all the growing pains that they work through no matter what age they were in. So as long as we give ourselves the same time, energy, and effort that you're putting forth into that goal, you are going to accomplish it. That shouldn't be your worry. Your worry should still be taking care of yourself and pouring into yourself while you're doing that. Now that I've truly understood that there is a unique pressure that I was putting on myself about my potential instead of being present in the situation, I think going forward, I'm just going to navigate learning myself. Like, I'm learning through each of these experiences more of myself. I'm accomplishing things that I had set forth for myself, and I had to reflect on, like, why did younger me, why did previous me even want this goal? What was the thing about this that made me feel like I was going to become more of a woman or more of the figure that I wanted to be? And really analyzing that before I move forward to make another goal, because if I'm not being one and true to myself but also reflective, I'm doing something wrong in the scenario. So I don't have a clean answer yet on how I'm gonna do it, or the when or the why. Well, actually, I do have a little bit of the why. We just kind of chatted about that. But I think I'm just gonna give myself grace, give myself time to take breaks and learn through it. I know that I still have goals I want to accomplish, and there's things that needs to get done. There is work that I need to put in. But I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna get there at my own speed. I'm gonna get there through learning about myself and who I am and how I'm growing as a young woman, and that's okay. And I can put a period at the end of that, because I will be okay, and you will be just as okay as I will be, because we're gonna grow and understand these things together in whatever stage of life that we're in. But I also need to focus on meeting myself when I am quiet, when I don't have to show up for anyone or be impressive or accomplish something new, but just floating through life as myself. So I charge you all to do the same. Sit with yourself when you're quiet, when there's no TV, when you're not journaling or reading a book, and just understand how to better serve your mind, your body, and your heart. Because I know lately I've been realizing that there are a lot of things that I could be doing to care for myself better, and I need to intentionally put the time in to do that. And that comes while balancing still accomplishing my goals and doing everything that I do through life, and that's okay. So thanks for coming and yapping with me on the couch today. I hope you all took a little something from this, because I definitely feel like me pouring this out gave me a little something more to fill up my cup with. I hope you all have an amazing and blessed day, and I'll see y'all to chat in the comments.